Hello and welcome back, Cozy Club. It is patch day and we've got the April patch notes. As always, you guys know it's a beautiful day for some DSA. We're gonna go and dip into these patch notes, what I think about everything that got announced. Raya and Namari are the shining spot of the patch notes. They are coming to the game. We got some nerfs of a character. We've got some characters that are great and now farmable. We're gonna talk about it all here today. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Let's go ahead, let's get right to the patch notes and look at what is coming to the game here in April, and it is the adventurer update. Now there's a lot of thoughts that I have about literally every piece of these patch notes. Let's go ahead, let's dive into what those thoughts might be, starting out again with the biggest kind of announcement coming. Finally, we've been waiting for it. It's been we made a video on it a couple weeks ago, but Raya and Namari are finally coming to the game. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Namari, she is going to be a fast, good, and by the way, look at both Namari and Raya. A fast, so great speed. Obviously, that means they're going to be competitive within the meta speed-wise. Hard-hitting brawler who trades Raya's evasion for her health and defense, making her a stalwart and stubborn foe she supports and is empowered by fellow Villain Kingdom teammates. We're going to dive into that piece a little bit later here. Villain Kingdom teammates, there's a lot that fall under there, and I love to see another villain coming in to DSA. Now looking at Raya, another fast, skilled sword fighter who uses her impeccable techniques and evasion to outwit her opponents and support her fellow adventurer allies. Lots of breakdown here. We're gonna really focus on the adventurer part of this. Evasion doesn't give me, I get it, she's a ninja-ish, she's fast. Evasion we've seen with Hero Hamada, so like to see other techniques come to the game, but hey, she's fast, I get it. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna break down what I think these two characters are gonna mean and what they look like all together, in my opinion, and what to highlight, because there's a lot of clues kind of within just this little version of the patch notes. But let's go ahead. I want to dive on over and look at the adventure tag to start out with, and then we're going to get to the nerf, we're going to get to the farmable characters, and everything else in between. So let's go ahead, let's jump on over and take a look at the adventurers tag and what that means. So here you go. These are all the adventures you see in the game. You got Moana, Barley, Bo Peep. We've talked about this. Chip, Dale, Rescue Rangers, and then Captain Jack Sparrow, who, let's be honest, we've all forgot that he's even in the game. So, looking at the characters that you have here, let me tell you why I think you should probably give a care, putting it nicely, about the adventurers. They don't put things in this game for no reason. We've had about 3 updates now. Adventure tag has been the one that's gotten, now, it's been highlighted a few times, right? We got the new tag, then we got the Rescue Rangers with that. Now we're getting some farmable characters that are adventurers. It's all kind of leading up to it. And then Raya and Namari are going to both need adventurer characters to unlock them. And there will be a leaderboard event. Now, as far as leaderboards, here's the deal. They're coming. It looks like these characters are coming out in the same way. The whales or the people that are spinning are going to get a little bit extra, which makes sense. They're funding the game that we play. However, with all of this, I want to know what it takes to get both Raya and Namari. Namari looks like it's strictly out of adventure characters. Raya, you're going to get both ways, it looks like. We'll have to see, is there going to be gym packs? Are there going to be other ways to unlock these characters? Again, we're going to have to check it out. But let me tell you why you should care about the adventurer tag, whether you feel like you're going to go after Namari and Raya, or if you care about those characters at all. I'm thinking there's going to be something here. I'm thinking, first of all, Raya is probably more than likely going to be the leader of the adventurers, right? It's kind of building up to that. They need a leadership ability. They have 0 synergy whatsoever. So Raya's probably going to bring a lot of that synergy outside of Monterey Jack having a little bit within his kit. So I expect Raya to really bring this group together. And I expect with these characters, we've gotten a lot of new characters. I expect a new mode, a new something that is going to require, in some form or facet, this faction. That's my first thoughts just right off the bat. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at these adventurer characters. And while we're talking about farming, who you should give a dang about and who you should go ahead and farm. So first of all, looking at this at the top of the pack, you're going to want to go ahead and get Barley. Barley's going to be the first one that you want to go ahead. Make sure if you're farming these in the order that I would go ahead and recommend the ones to go for. If you're going to need 5, let's say, if you need 5 adventurers, these are the ones that I would go for. Barley, then followed by that Moana. Outside of that, I would probably go with Dale. He's the best out of the bunch there, out of Chip and Dale. Monterey Jack's a pretty easy farm. And then lastly, you've got Captain Jack Sparrow, who you can grab from the club exchange. Should be an easy farm, even though you're not going to really use him much way. Now, if you are free to play, you need Oceanics for different game modes and stuff. So getting Captain Jack Sparrow might be a double stone, there. But talking about this a little bit more, Moana and Bo Peep have just become farmable. Now that's a pretty large deal. First of all, Moana, super valuable character. Right there next to S tier, one of the better characters in the game, a phenomenal character within the raid herself. And here's the deal. She's an adventurer, and she's probably the top right under Barley. Barley being a little bit more plug and playable, but probably the top adventurer. So go ahead, stop what you're doing and farm. I'm thinking farm Moana. You're going to use her more ways than one. Free to play, pay to play. If you don't have her, invest in Moana. She's one of those characters. She's a princess. She's going to fit into any team with that. Great in the raids. No reason not to go ahead and go after Moana. Now, on the other side of things, looking at the next character that got announced that is farmable, by the way, both of these a little bit late game farmable, not really early game, is going to be Bo Peep. Now, here's the deal. Bo Peep doesn't scream sexy. She doesn't do anything, not physically appearance-wise, but more in the how she does in the game altogether. Bo Peep, OP doesn't have a lot of viability at the moment, right? She can assign a taunt, which is nice. She can assign Miss Giggle there and get defense up. She's got some stacking mechanisms. Her offense lead is great with Toy Story characters. Unfortunately, now even with the Woody nerf, which we're going to get to, Toy Stories aren't a great faction at the moment. So not a bad character. Someone I maybe would go ahead and passively, maybe kind of your side project, go ahead and farm her up. But Bo Peep is going to also become farmable later in the game as well. Now, there's your adventurers all together. I'm definitely going to be taking up Dale, Monterey Jack, and then I'll have kind of my set 5 for Raya to see kind of what that looks like. Of course, we're going to be testing out a Max Raya. We're going to be trying her out. We're going to put her with the adventurers, and I'll let you guys know in a future video how she is all together. But let's go ahead. Let's switch over and talk about Namari. Now, Namari, they said she's fast, and she's going to get not only empowered, but she's going to support fellow Kingdom villains. All right, so why is that important? Who's the Kingdom villains that she's going to be supporting in the first place? Let's check it out. We're going to go to the Kingdom faction rather than the villain faction. A little bit easier to find them. You've got Shan Yu. Shan Yu's going to be your first villain. So we've talked about this. I love characters that have... They're going to get better as other characters come out. Now, villains all fit that mold because of how the team is formed under not only Ursula, but the other characters in the bunch. And so we're going to be seeing a rise to the Ursula, Pain and Panic, and Haiti teams that have those two other fillable spots. And Namari is going to go ahead and rise these other characters up. Shan Yu being one of them. Shan Yu's already a very great character. Just doesn't have really a place as a leader anymore. So he's kind of finding himself in a weird spot. I think Namari could definitely get him punching a little bit harder. Excited to see what she's going to be bringing as a support. As far as other villains that you can see in here, I mean, you've got Sheriff of Nottingham. We have some stuff to say about him here in a minute. Sheriff of Nottingham, already a great character. Gonna get even better. Kind of crazy to think about under Namari if she's gonna empower them and support them. And then on top of that, you've got Mother Gothel, another Kingdom support or Kingdom villain, if you will. And then you've got Jafar. Both these great. Excited to see if there's some type of speed mechanic. Expect Jafar to jump up a little bit in the tier list if Namari could speed these guys up. Outside of that, you've got the kind of the bottom of the pack. Maleficent will never get her. I mean, we don't know when we're gonna get her, I guess. And then we've got Yzma, Kronk, and Gaston. These guys are, you know what? I don't know. Maybe the support's going to be enough to bring them way up. But those are the Kingdom villains I'm going to be keeping my eye on. It's nice to see another villain into the ring to put with Ursula. We're going to have to see how she does and how she elevates these other Kingdom villains around them. Excited about that. We're definitely going to be testing them out and doing that all on Twitch. Check it down in the description below if you're not following us on Twitch already. So we've got Kingdom, we've got Adventurers. You definitely should go into those two. Great farmable characters. Let's get to the last piece of this, and it is going to be none other than the man himself. None other than Mr. This pretty much sums it up. But also it's not the end of the world, but we're going to quickly talk about it. This man right here. My man Woody. Love Woody. Love Woody. We just made a spotlight on Woody. They are going to be nerfing or taking back a little bit of what his passive was. Now, he was a crazy medic in the game. You guys knew how great his healing was. They needed to tone it down a bit. Now, after a full week of playing testing, about 2 weeks now of playing and testing with Woody, at the top end of the game, it was too much. It was too much. You guys go back and look at how Hero Hamada was with his shields. They had to dial back same kind of thing here, in my opinion. It's not going to ruin the character. We haven't tested it. I got to kind of see how it kind of lines up. They pretty much said that after looking into him, he was doing it too much. And so they wanted to dial it back and add a bit of magic to him. So let's go ahead. I want to go and kind of dip into Woody for a second and then talk about what I want to, a problem I might have with some of this. So taking a look at Toy Stories and taking a look at the faction altogether, let's pull up Woody here and look at him. So Woody passive, as you guys know, healing was great. They're going to add a tick here to make it a 1-turn cooldown, which with Cauldron and with some other characters like Anna, Barley, whatever, you're going to be able to lower that cooldown to have it happen more often. Here's my problem with this, Cozy Club. I liked to see a healer in this game to this proportion. The animation was happening too much, a little bit on the annoying side as far as that. He was making Grandma Tala essentially just not even worth using, just because of how much his healing was alone. And I get them needing to, I don't know, balance that out. My problem with this is if this is a passive that's broken, right, or not as intended, or it's clearly happening too much. I think we have a good list and we know what passives are happening too much. Okay, fair enough. Add magic to it. Guys, look, these don't bug me. It's annoying. It can definitely be annoying as long as they don't slaughter the character. Woody wasn't great to begin with, and we'll have to test and see how this goes. But what does get under my skin with all this is if you go to Sheriff of Nottingham. All right, so here's the deal, guys. I know some of you guys love Sheriff Nottingham and, get mad at me in the comments, but I'm just going to be truthful about it. You know dang well Sheriff of Nottingham's passive is, if not as toxic as Woody, if not better. Sheriff of Nottingham's passive is one of those, the same thing, no cooldown. It happens way too much in the battle. And so with this, what I'm confused about is if you're going to nerf Woody, you got to be consistent. You got to say, okay, if things are too toxic or things are not how we intended, we're going to go ahead and fix them. Well, Sheriff is on that list, and there's a couple others on that list too. And so I don't mind these coming in. I just want them to be consistent. And so Sheriff is just one example with this entire thing altogether. Sheriff Nottingham, of course, is only going to get better, it looks like, under Namari. But that's the whole thing with the Woody nerf. We're going to have to test him out. I'm going to put a lot of him on Twitch. I took him up all the way up to T8, guys. I took him and Buzz up, for that matter, to see how they would perform. And so there it is. They nerfed it a little bit. I think it's still going to be great. His healing, even if it's 1-turn cooldown, his healing's still gonna be really good. I mean, they're not messing with the numbers of healing, so he's still gonna be healing the same as Grandma Tala, just not every tick. It'll happen every other. Which, if you think about it, breaking it down very quickly, and why that matters is, if you think about it with Mr. Woodster here, it doesn't matter. Let's say they go after Hercules. They do some big damage on Hercules. Woody heals them up. Next turn, they do some damage. Woody doesn't because the passive's in effect. But the next turn, he'll pretty much heal him back to full. And so it's going to be doing about the same thing. But the larger picture is looking at other characters that need an adjustment. So we got Namari coming to the game. We don't know what the patch notes look like. We'll do a kit unveiling. We got Raya coming to the game. Going to bring up the adventurers. Probably going to be the leader of the adventurers, possibly for a new game mode or a new function within the game. Leaderboards are going to come out to get Raya. You got Namari as well, who's going to empower the villains. Altogether, pretty excited. I think this is a good patch. I think we'll have to see how they kind of play their role. The movie was great, and you got to see Tuk Tuk if you don't know Tuk Tuk. Raya better have some Tuk Tuk in his kit, or he needs to be a spell. He needs to be in the game in some degree. So, Cozy Club, that is going to be the main majority of the patch notes there. Outside of the biggest news probably being Moana for free-to-play is farmable. Again, go for Moana. Bo Peep, great option as well. They're both going to be fast. Heart and Fang is going to be coming out, and we will be dipping into that. And Cozy Club, that is going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the April update. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about both the nerfing side of things, but also how Namari is going to make villains better and Raya is going to make the adventurers a faction. Because right now there's really no synergy there, and a lot of heavy lifting to go with that faction because the characters aren't that great to begin with. So, Captain Jack Sparrow, I forgot, was even the game, like I said. So, let's go ahead. Let's end today's video, guys. Like today's video if you guys like this kind of stuff. Subscribe if you haven't, because over 50% of you guys are not subscribed. And until next time, stay cozy.